Since childhood, I've been able to see the exact amount of money in someone's bank account floating above their head. At the orphanage, I use this gift to pick adoptive parents who look shabby but actually have $1 billion sitting in the bank. Unfortunately, I only get to enjoy the good life for a short time before the family's real daughter is brought home. She's furious that I've taken her place and makes it her mission to make my life miserable. In order to stay in school, I swallow every insult and endure her bullying. After finally graduating, I'm ready to walk away from this family forever. But the real daughter stops me. She's fuming as she says, "I thought my online boyfriend was a rich guy with a Ferrari, but it turns out he's just a broke loser who rides a rental bike. If he latches onto me, it'll be a stain on my reputation for life. You go meet him for me. Tell him you're the one he's been dating online." I look in the direction she's pointing and see the man she's talking about. A broke nobody, but the bank balance hovering over his head has 10 digits. I swallow hard, my heart racing as I grab the real daughter's arm in excitement. "Quick, tell me everything about your online relationship. I'll go meet him right now." Yvonne Reed let out a mocking laugh. "Seriously, Tessa, have you never seen a man before? Drooling over a broke loser?" She tossed her phone at me. "Since you're that desperate, I'll give him to you. Leave with him, and don't ever come back." I memorized every detail and walked up to him. "Hi, I'm Cindy. My real name is Tessa Reed." I smiled and held out my hand. His eyes lit up. "You're even prettier than I imagined. My real name is Calvin Fulton." Yvonne had only sent him blurry photos. Our figures were similar enough that he didn't suspect anything. When I shook his hand, I counted the numbers above his head, 10 digits, steadily increasing. If I could latch onto him, I wouldn't just escape my family. I wouldn't need to worry about anything anymore. Calvin gave me a self-conscious look. "I'm dressed shabbily, and I came on a rented bike. Are you embarrassed by me?" He wore worn-out flip-flops and cheap, threadbare clothes. Yvonne had played the part of a poor girl online. I went along with it. "All my clothes are hand-me-downs. Looks like we're both frugal." When he saw my sallow skin and thin frame, his suspicion eased. But his test wasn't over. "Let me buy you a meal," he said. He rented a bike for me, making sure I saw his old phone. I took out my own cracked phone and bought him a soda. After biking half an hour, he led me to a buffet place selling boxed meals for $15. When I froze, Calvin rubbed his hands nervously. "A whole day of delivering takeout only gets me $80. Are you going to look down on me?" My stomach growled. "Of course not. I was adopted, and my adoptive parents stopped supporting me once I got into college. I worked part-time for tuition. I usually bought cheap bread and free soup. For me, this is already luxurious." I hurried inside, piling food onto my tray. "Sweet and sour pork? Love that. Mashed potatoes? Love that. Bread rolls? Love that." Calvin followed me. When he saw how eagerly I ate, tenderness flickered in his eyes. "So you really do love this stuff." I was too busy eating to hear him. After a few bites, he put his fork down. Everything he didn't finish ended up in my stomach. When I finished, I patted my full belly. "Thanks. This was the most satisfying meal I've had all year." "Don't be so easy to please. Once I start making real money, I'll take you somewhere better." When he offered to walk me home, I waved him off. "I'm never going back there. I'll stay in a cheap hostel while I look for a job." Calvin had always been curious about Yvonne's life in their chats. She always dodged the question. So now, I spoke freely. I was adopted. A few days after they brought me home, their biological daughter was sent back. From then on, she bullied me constantly. My adoptive parents knew, they just didn't care. But they gave me food, shelter, and schooling. I'm still grateful. Calvin's hands balled into fists.